Hey guys, this is Andy from StarWars.com bringing you a behind-the-scenes look at Idiot's Array, the newest episode of Star Wars Rebels, where the crew takes a job with an unlikely ally. This is Rebels Recon. In a high-stakes game of sabacc, Zeb loses Chopper to one Lando Calrissian, who promises to return the droid in exchange for passage past Lothal's Imperial blockade.
Oh, you're quite the pilot.
The smooth-talking smuggler does little to gain the group's trust and leads them from one dangerous situation to another.
We're done here. Pay us and we'll be on our way.
With all debts mostly paid, Chopper rejoins the Ghost crew and they finally realize the astromech is an essential part of the team.
Till we meet again.
This week, we're wrapping up our series with the Star Wars Rebels editorial team by taking a look at the technical side of their work.
The editorial department is kind of the gatekeeper for the entire show. Everything at every stage comes through editorial. We touch every aspect.
Every single action and movement all has to be diligently timed out by the editor to feel natural, to feel like these characters are real and that they actually move in this space in the way that they do.
As the characters speak, we have these little chunks of their audio interspersed along this timeline here. Each layer here represents, this would be story, this would be layout, animation, and then finally the final picture. Between the two editors, we'll have 4 shows in story phase, a show in layout phase, a show in animation phase, and a show in lighting. Our timelines are constantly being updated.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff on the timeline, and you could see why folks like us need glasses or contact lenses, because you're staring at a lot of little tiny pieces all day long.
It's not your fault. It's really, really hard.
This week marked the highly anticipated return of a fan-favorite character. We talked with cast and crew about the old smoothie himself and his game of choice, sabacc. Lando shows up in Idiot's Array, and it looks like he's just getting into the mining game. Where is the character's development at this point?
I think you have to remember that the Lando that you see in Idiot's Array is very much a smuggler and a schemer. He isn't really legit at this moment. He's operating on the fringes.
Lando's probably more like a scheme-a-week kind of guy. He may be into mining this week, he may be into used starship sales the next week, he might end up producing a stage play the week after that. Like, he strikes us as a kind of character who has a lot of irons in the fire.
Only Hera really has a lot of experience with guys like Lando, so she kind of sniffs him out as being full of it right from the start.
What did Hera think of him?
Insofar as he could be useful, that's fantastic. The way he speaks to her, not so much, but it's nothing she can't handle. Now, fangirl Vanessa, when I saw that name on the page, I had a heart attack. And several times during the episode, Freddie would turn to me and say, "Do you know what this means?"
The cast gets so excited when Billy D is gonna be there, and then I never put them in the room with Billy D because I don't think they could handle it.
Lando's so charismatic and his personality is so defined by his voice that you couldn't not have Billy D in it.
The game of sabacc is the stuff of legend in Star Wars. I mean, Lando lost the Millennium Falcon to Han Solo playing this game, but this is the first time we actually see it. How did you go about creating it for the episode?
You have to get out the rules, and I asked Pablo and Leland what are the exact rules.
And of course they know.
And of course they know.
What I did for that was not only make sure that the gameplay made sense in the course of the episode, but I also provided ABC, our concept artist on the show, that original set of cards, so then she could make cards that weren't exactly that, but made sense, that the values made sense on the card faces. I'm glad that we're able to keep that sabacc mythology alive in a show like this.
If the Rebels cast got together to play a card game like sabacc, how do you think that would go down? Steve's probably got like a pocket full of extra cards. Or
No, I would pick Freddie. In real life? Oh yeah.
I think Freddie would win. Don't tell Freddie I said that. Freddie's really smart and he's street smart, so that's a deadly combination.
We loved reading your reactions to Path of the Jedi, and as always, took your questions to Pablo Hidalgo for answers. Jacob Lockett asks, where and when did Kanan get his lightsaber crystal? He seemed surprised that Ezra had even received one.
Well, Cain was a Padawan during the time of the Clone Wars, so we have every reason to believe that he would have gotten his Kyber crystal the same way that we see those younglings get them in the Gathering episode of the Clone Wars. So he probably would have gone onto the Crucible, that ancient ship, voyaged all the way to Ilum, and gotten his crystal there. And that's kind of been tradition. The suggestion is that's become such the ingrained notion of where you get it that Jedi may have forgotten that there were other paths back in the day. And so an ancient Jedi temple like the one seen on Lothal could actually have had Kyber crystals there. So I think Kanan was surprised that one actually did turn up at a site like that.
And one more question, because everybody wants to know, who's Fulcrum?
Oh, who is Fulcrum? That's a good question. In order to really get into that, you really have to look in the history of secret informants and their role in galactic conflicts. And for something like that, you really have to examine a character who's straddled.
Here's our sneak preview of our next episode, Vision of Hope.
Put your saber down, boy. Now!
The Empire knows you're here. Stay close, Senator.
You want me to go in there?
Thanks for watching Rebels Recon. Since we're off next week, Vision of Hope will air Monday, February 2nd on Disney XD and will be available on WatchDisneyXD.com and the Watch Disney XD app on Monday, January 26th. In the meantime, check out our episode guides and more only on StarWars.com. Hey guys, this is Andy from StarWars.com. Welcome back to Lucasfilm headquarters in the second half of Star Wars Rebels Season 1. We're kicking things off with a look at Path of the Jedi. This is Rebels Recon.